I'm so excited for this, truly. This was just all like such perfect timing for me. You guys know that I've been with our company for 7 years and I've been through so much growth. And just a couple weeks ago, um, I went to like my first Tony Robbins event, and just things that have been like in me that I've been like trying to work through so much. And no matter what book I read or no matter what I listened to, I wasn't able to get through it. And going to that event, hi Sophie, going to that event, I was able to get through such incredible things. And Karissa was there, KK was there, and she's just amazing. You guys are going to be like goals for real. And so I just reached out and connected, and I wanted to see if there was a way that we would be able to set something up. And it was just all such perfect timing, especially with the end of the year. So if you guys are so excited, go ahead and type a number 1 below and tell me like what you're hoping to move through. What do you want to grow through right now? You know, what do you feel like is holding you back? And I think that like when we come in this with an intention of that one thing that we just need to just like let go of, that one ball and chain, we'll have a lot of growth. And so I want to tell you guys just a little bit about Karissa really quick. Okay. So, well, her name's Karissa, but people call her KK, and it's because her last name is Kouchis. But she's a national speaker. She's a corporate trainer and a host performance strategist with the Tony Robbins company. Okay. So she's got a master's degree in organizational influence, and she blends communication theory with human psychology to guide people through advancing skills in leadership, negotiation, psychology of achievement, sales mastery, and she calls it overall badassery. Badassery. And I think we're all here for that. So you guys, like, she's so high energy. And if you guys don't follow her on Instagram, make sure you do. But she's trained over 1,000 events. And I think it's been just 2 years since she's been working with them for like Fox Sports, the NFL, StubHub, Zoom, which we're on right now, the Ellen Show, Beauty Connor, Equinox, New York Life, Marriott Hotels, Bar Fitness. She's the co-founder of Unleash Her Power Within, which you guys are probably familiar with. Tony Robbins has a program that he does that's Unleash the Power Within. And so she does like the girls version of that. She'll probably talk about that just a little bit. So her like words that she likes to describe herself, which I'm excited for, is firecracker, energized, raw, bold, authentic, electric. She's just amazing. And so I really hope that you guys, I don't know. So make sure you follow her too, because every day when I'm watching her, it just really like sets my soul on fire. And I was like, that's what I want to be. And that's what I want to do. So without further ado, I am going to, and everybody just give her some love. She's amazing. She's traveled to like 6 million different places this year. And let's see. I'm going to ask to unmute you if it works.
What's up, everybody?
All right, now I need to find you. I got to find your face. Hold on.
Oh, cool.
Replace spotlight.
Awesome.
Hey.
You guys, how are you doing tonight? Wait, you mean to tell me that Jade just hypes me up? I mean, maybe I wrote that bio myself, but gives you this hype, tells you I'm the national speaker for Tony Robbins, and that's all I get? Come on, jump into the comment box, light this up. It is so good to be here with you guys. Look at this energy in the comment box. So excited, can't wait. Yay, I'm stoked. You guys, it is such a privilege. It is such an honor to be your guest speaker tonight. And before I say anything, can we give it up for Jade? Someone that has the uterus to slide into my DMs and be like, I saw you on that event with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. Would you come speak to my crew? I'm like, a good old DM hit up. I was like, yes, let's make this happen for you. And I think when you have someone in your corner like that, when you have someone like Jade that's willing to pull people in to your community, you keep those people close and you love up on them, right? Can I get an amen up here? I mean, what a privilege. I was on with her, just connecting about your team, learning about her story from 23 years old, having one baby, to making over $700,000 in the same business that you are in right now. Now she has 3 kids. She's grown a team of over, 70,000 or 700,000? I mean, a huge, what we call an HAN, ready? Huge ass number. And she's done that with ease and grace. And then she's brought a training to you guys tonight that I'm so confident is going to be a training that can transform everything for you in your business in the final 64 days of this year. Can I get an amen? I mean, it's late, Central Time. I'm in Chicago right now. It's 9:00 and we're about to turn up the dial. So buckle up, everybody. How are you guys doing? If you do not know me, has anyone here ever trained with me before? I've worked with like over 4,000 network marketers a month, so there's a good chance. If you have trained with me, just put unicorn in Chicago in the chat box. Put unicorn in the chat box. And if you have not, put okay, cool. We got a few unicorns here. If you've never trained with me, a few unicorns on here. Any UHPW ladies on here? By chance? Maybe, possibly. Okay, we've got 2 so far. Okay, that's really cool. Well, it's great to meet all of you. My name is Karissa Kouchis, and a lot of people in the KK world or in the Tony world call me KK. And you can call me whatever it is that your heart desires. But I am a national speaker for Tony. So that means when we're not in the middle of a global pandemic, I'm traveling the US 350 plus days out of the year. Did you hear that? 350 plus days out of the year. In 2019 alone, I took, I think it was 87 flights. And I train human beings, groups, teams, organizations on the concepts of leadership, mindset, peak performance, sales mastery. Are any of these topics sounding like they would benefit you in your business? Anybody at all? A hand up, maybe 2 hands up in the air. Can I get a yes on the other end? So I travel all around the world and I share this concept, not because I'm so great. Like none of you should be like, wow, KK knows everything. I know a guy that knows a hell of a lot. And his name is, shout it out if you know, shout it out. Who is it? Drop it in the comment box. Tony freaking Robbins. How many of you know who Tony Robbins is by a show of hands? Eric Crawford, did you just attend UPW virtual? What's up? Yes. So great. Tony Robbins, if you are unfamiliar with who this titan, giant, beast is, you've got to know, we've got to take care of that right now. He is the #1 success coach on the planet. Maybe I'm biased because he is my boss, but you guys, he's been around, he's been doing this for over 43 years. He's impacted the lives of 50 million people from 100 different nations. He's a leader called upon by other leaders. Anyone in the network marketing space, coached and trained by who? Tony freaking Robbins. He's also trained a lot of people you already know. If I'm going to say some names here, and let's just do a quiz and see if you know some of these people. Does anyone know who Michael Jordan is? What about Oprah Winfrey? Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Mark Benioff, the founder of Salesforce.com. What about Leonardo DiCaprio? For my ladies on here. Okay, now you wake up. I see you. Usher. What about Usher? What about Princess Diana, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, 4 of the 5 past US presidents? Would you say those people are successful? Yes or yes? Would you say they're motivated? Would you say they're decently busy from time to time? How many of you, especially in the middle of this gorgeous pandemic we've been in, have been a little busy, have been a little irritable, had a lot going on? Anybody? Can I throw a hand up in the air, say yes? So you seem to have a lot in common with this entire list of people who, guess it, been coached and trained by who? Tony Robbins. So all of you tonight, I got to honor you because you're investing your most precious asset to be here tonight, just like all those other people coached and trained by Tony. There's a 7-year waiting list to coach with Tony. It's $1 million for 8 hours of his time. And tonight I'm going to share with you distinctions that he coaches them up on. Not because I know everything, but because I know Tony, and I'm going to share it with you. If you're ready for it, if you're prepared for it. And I've got to honor you because there's so many people out in this world, right? Some of the best, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Hugh Jackman, Serena Williams. Are these people already talented? Yes or yes? Are they already successful? So why are they walking on fire with Tony Robbins? Why are they showing up at Unleash the Power Within virtual? Why would they do that if they're already kicking butt? Why would they do that? Put it in the comment box, right? Keep growing. Lauren says they want more. Brianna says they want more, right? Because they want to get to another what? Level. All of you jumped on this call tonight, invested your most precious asset, which is your time. Some of you are mamas and you have babies and you have a million things that you could be doing tonight, but you found the time to have a private moment to invest in yourself, to do a training, to take yourself to the next level because you got 64 days left in 2020 and you're not going out without swinging. Am I right? I'm just curious. How many of you on here? Brace yourselves. You think I got energy now? My goodness, buckle up. How many of you on here know that you have another level inside of you? Put yeah, baby in the comment box. If you absolutely, without a doubt, know that you have another level and maybe you have not yet tapped into it. That is what we are going to open up, what we are going to unleash tonight at this training. We've designed this training for you based on what you're working with, what you're going through, what you're growing through, building your teams, growing your businesses. This training tonight is designed for you. And I will promise you something. My guarantee for you, eyes up here or write this down. Here's my promise. My promise to you is after doing 1,000 events, I know how this thing works. My promise is that if you lean into this event tonight, this will be hands down the best hour of outside training you have ever had, period. Besides your CEO, because in case, they jump on, I want to make sure we're respectful, right? Period. If you lean into it. And when I say lean into it, what I mean is that we show up and play at a level 10. Level what? Whoa. Look at some of you are saying level 10 while you're laying down you're like, you got a leg up, you got your whole face laying in your hand. A level what? Okay, good. Level 10. So what does a level 10 mean? You guys, you can use this in your businesses, with your marriages, with your kids. It's going to be a term, a lingo that starts to become a mantra of your life. And you can use this when any of you wake up during a day and you're like, yeah, today's canceled. Just not into it. I don't really want to send a DM. I don't really want to make an outreach. I don't really want to do the thing today. I don't want to go to the gym. Has anyone ever been there before? Say yes. So the way that you can combat that feeling emotionally is by showing up at a level what? Drop it in the comments, level 10. So what's a level 10? First component of a level 10. If you want to make a radical shift in your business, in your life, the first thing that you do is step into a level 10. And the way that you can do that the easiest, the fastest, is you make a radical shift in your physiology or the way you move your what? Drop it in the comment box. Body. Awesome. So Eric Crawford, this beautiful woman right here, gorgeous, luscious red locks, has just been to one of our virtual events. I'm not sure if anyone else has on here, but we have this virtual UPW and she has her little sticks that we send to everyone's houses. And so what she just did right now is shifted her whole body up and her shoulders went where? Back, right? Ladies, let the girls out to play. Lift your head up, put your feet flat on the ground, engage your core, engage your body. Everyone right now, sit in your seats with more energy than you've ever had before in your life. Wake your screen up with your energy just simply sitting in your chair. When you make a subtle shift in your body, you shift your shoulders back, you engage your core, you lift your brain. Maybe you stand up, right? I'm standing up today. How many of you can see when you just simply sit like a leader, your energy level changes? Put a hand up in the air, say yes. All right, solid. That's step number 1. You're going to hold your body position like this the entire time today. All right. Why? Because we want to coach ourselves through our mental drops. There are going to be times when you're going to notice yourself dip. Are there weeks and months where you have a slow, right? Slow month, slow week. We've got to coach ourselves through that moment. So if you catch yourself dipping, do what I call the bend and snap, right? Elle Wood style. You're dipping, snap it back. If you're with me, put yeah, baby in the comment box. All right. Level 10 tip number 2 tonight is take notes. People pay thousands of dollars for this training. We're going to package some things in today just as a gift. We are like 20 days out from one of our events. So I was just with Tony the other day and we were talking about getting on with all of you. And this is one of my favorite things to do. So I'm very excited to be here. And so we're going to share with you some content tonight that we don't share other places. All right. We're really excited to provide this for you. We packaged it up a couple weeks ago, talked with Jade. We know what you're working with in your business, how this is is kind of a silent but deadly time, a seed planting time. We want to help you guys explode. But we're not going to provide you this video, this training after tonight because it's proprietary protected information. So when I say take notes, how many of you are building teams or would like to build a team? By show of hands, say aye. All right, solid. So would it be beneficial for you to learn this content so well that you could train it to someone else? So tonight, take notes not like you're in school, but take notes like you're going to capture the things that really connect with you and trigger you as if you were going to train it to your team. Sound good? You don't have to write down everything. That's like highlighting every single thing in a book. Just write down the things that really inspire you. All right. The things you'd want to tattoo on your foot. All right. That one's good. Are we good with that? Thumb up if you're good with that. Number 3 is engagement. So I'm used to being in person at events or in our studio that we built. And some of you that have done the virtual, you know what that looks like. It's like a full immersion, 360-degree room that Tony literally built. It's like a Zoom room extended in a giant circle. Okay. And now I'm in your computer screen or your cell phone in your living room and your home offices. This is a different dynamic. And I'm supposed to help you explode your business, help you get, more energy, tighter butts, whatever it is that you want. And we have a challenge here, right? So the way that we're going to make this not some grandma Zoom call, weekly random ass call you get on and you get off and your life doesn't change, we're going to change it just with simply our engagement. So to be respectful of everyone's ear, we're going to keep you muted, but the way that we'll engage together is the comment box. All right. Now here's not any comment box. I need you guys to be so active that this thing never stops rolling. So if you hear me say something that you like, type it up and throw it in the comment box. If you're like, yes, KK, with you, KK, I feel you, KK. Yeah, level 10, like anything I say, you flip it back to me. If I say the 3 keys to transforming your business are A, B, and C, type those up so the procrastinators don't have to ask it for, 5 minutes after I already said it. All right. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. And then finally, get in the game. This is the game of life, right? And I was on the phone with Jade earlier, and she literally said that this moment in time is what's separating the men from the boys. And I just loved that analogy. How many of you would relate to that? Put I relate in the comment box. This moment right now. And in the Tony world, we call that, there's really, a top 20% of people that create all the results. And the only thing you got to do to get there is to make a really small adjustment in the most important muscle in your mindset. And that small adjustment is a 2-millimeter shift in this muscle right here, which is your mindset. A 2-millimeter shift. How many of you are capable of making a 2-millimeter shift so that you can be the man that walks out there, take gender out of it, but you're the man that's walking away from the boys. All right? Who's ready for that? So if we're going to really make this thing happen tonight, I need your full commitment. I need your full commitment. I'm talking about like this, we are going to go all in or we're going to die trying tonight. Full commitment. And can I be a part of your team tonight? That's an important question because let's be honest, I'm the outsider. Half of you don't know me. Some of you are like, this chick, looks like she was born yesterday. How's she going to train me on my business? She probably hasn't even been divorced yet. You can think all the thoughts you want, but I just learned this stuff from Tony and I'm going to share it with you. All right. And I know for a fact that the training that you're going to get tonight, it supported me in my own life. I went from bringing in $38,000 to over 1.6 million in a year and 2 months. Just from the content I learned in this call. I have a woman in another network marketing company. Her name is Chelsea Miller. She brought in a 70% increase in her residual income and after 1 year of working with myself and Tony in our other programs, okay? This training tonight can transform everything, but you got to show up at a level what? So if you're 100% committed to show up tonight differently than maybe you have in any other call, to just make tonight about you, to be selfish tonight, right? How many of us go through the day and we do things for everyone else, right? And by the end of the day, you're like, what's left for me? Anybody else here been there before? Or maybe you had one of those days where you didn't even know how you showed up tonight. And it's been shitty. It's been a shitty month. It's been a shitty year, let's be honest, if we're calling it tight. So maybe tonight we need to take all of our emotions, shove them in an imaginary box and set the box on the shelf. So tonight you can be selfish and focus on you. Who's down for that? Put a hand up in the air, say yes. It's not a rah-rah session tonight. It's not a pump up, but it's going to be about strategy. And the strategy you learn tonight can absolutely transform your business and your life. But the truth is you're all here for different reasons. Some of you are here because you want to do great things in this business. Some of you have marriages hanging on by a thread. Some of you are more focused on having tighter butts, in 2021. You all have different goals, and I honor you for all of your goals. And tonight you have the freedom to be absolutely selfish and pursue and use this content and make it fit for what you want in your life. Can I get an amen? So if you're ready for this, I want you to lean in all the way close to the camera. And if you don't have your camera on right now, what are you doing? Turn it on or jump off, right? Be on with us. Lean in all the way. And I want you to yell out from your end, say, I'm committed, are you, baby? Shout it out. Yep. Moms, if your kids are sleeping, you mouth it, but I'm committed, are you, baby? Get it in your body one more time. Awesome. All right. Sit backs in your seats with lots of energy. Let's dive in. First things first. And also, I'm going to move right into what's going to move the needle for you. So take a notebook out, grab a pen. We're going in. First things first is that Tony began his career 43 years ago simply by asking one question. He wanted to know what separates the boys from the men. He wanted to know what's the difference that makes the difference. Why is it that some people succeed and some people fail? Why is it that one person takes a troubling situation, makes magic out of it, and someone else crumbles? Why in the middle of a global pandemic is somebody exploding their business and somebody else is the victim of it? What's the difference that makes the difference? Truly, I mean, you tell me. You guys already know this because you're in this business. You're all leaders. If you're on this team, I don't have to tell you what that means. We're all alike. We're one and the same. Successful people hang out with who? Leaders hang out with who? Sometimes I go in other companies, I have to spend 45 minutes training on what it means to be a leader. That's why I was excited for tonight, because I can skip all that junk. Maybe you've had an off month. Maybe you've had an off week. Hell, maybe you've had an off 3 years, but you know who you are. Yes or yes? It's in you. That version of you exists. It's the version of you that got yourself on this call tonight. So what's the difference that makes the difference? Discipline, mindset. What else? Drop it in the comment box. Discipline, mindset, consistency, action. What else? What else? Commitment, I see. Commitment, vision, tenacity, no excuses, knowing your why, ambition, faith, passion. Write this down. The difference that makes the difference are your patterns. Patterns, your patterns. Who can tell me what a pattern is? What's a pattern? What is it? Be quick, be quick. Repeated behavior or a habit, right? Exactly. How many of you, just curious, have good habits on the call? Who brushed their teeth this morning? Still not all of you. Oh my gosh. Rule number 1, if you want to be successful in sales, honestly, fresh breath. Okay. Didn't know we had to go back to that level, but brush your teeth. My point being, we have good patterns and we have bad patterns. Yes or yes? How many of you right now recognize that you might be running some patterns in your business that maybe aren't taking you in the direction you want to go? Maybe running some patterns of thought that maybe are restricting you from where the hell you want to go. So let me show you really quick why this is important, because Tony's built his entire career off of this. Hold your hands up 6 inches apart like this. First, shake the body out. Get a little energy in here. Shake the body out 6 inches apart. And just interlock your fingers like this. Take them apart and do it again. One more time. Perfect. One more time. How many of you put the exact same thumb on top every single time? Interesting. We would call that a what? And you're like, well, my thumbs don't make me money, KK. What do you mean? Patterns run your life. Autopilot patterns run your life. Did you have to think about which thumb you put on top? Yes or no? No, because you've been doing it for how long? Maybe years. How many of you have some patterns that you've been running emotionally, or thought patterns, behavior patterns, belief patterns that you've been running your whole damn life? Anybody here? So what separates the boys from the men, What separates the successful from the unsuccessful is not how many years of experience you've had in the business. Your fearless leader over here created massive success, over $700,000 in 2 years. It doesn't have to do with how old you are, how young you are, how in shape your bum is, what happened to you 10 years ago, what career you had before this, if you have tattoos or don't have tattoos, has nothing to do with that, right? It has to do with your daily patterns and habits of behavior. If you're with me, say yes. So why is this important? Because the most important tool that you and I can learn, the one that Tony's been teaching people for over 43 years, the one that he taught to Nelson Mandela, to Michael Jordan, to Oprah Winfrey, to Serena Williams, to Steph Curry, to Conor McGregor. It doesn't matter who is Julianne Hough, one of my favorite people in the world. It doesn't matter who he's working with. He's teaching them how to build up really good patterns. And listen to me, if you're listening, lean in and destroy the patterns that are limiting you. Oftentimes, we don't even know what the patterns are that are limiting us because they're showing up on autopilot. We're doing them over and over and over and over again. Tonight, you're going to come to face with what these patterns are. Because if you don't have clarity, can you get through? If you have no clarity, you'll wake up 7 years later and still not be at the diamond level and be like, what the hell happened? But you have patterns that you're running that are limiting you. Who sees what I mean right now? Put a hand up in the air. So tonight's about getting clarity on what these patterns are. And then guess what happens when you recognize, oh, damn, I have a pattern that's holding me back. Then we know, we got to do what? What is the only forward option for us? Change it. Make a decision. So then let's talk about that. Look at you guys. You're so good. How many of you are ready to change your limiting patterns? Say yes. Okay, great. Now it's one thing to be ready. It's another thing to execute. We got to prepare for that. So what happens when we make a change? Hands up 6 inches apart. Woo! I'm feeling it tonight. When I say go, put your hands together with the opposite thumb on top. Ready, set, go. So half of you couldn't even do it. Some of you feel what? What? How does this feel? It feels what? It feels weird, awkward, different, uncomfortable, off balance, weird, wrong, not normal, different, weird, bad, ha ha. It was weird. It was off. It was uncomfortable. I hate it, awkward, uncomfortable. How many of you describe, I don't know, cold reaching out to prospective people to join your business or compensation plan? How many of you would describe that the same way? Just curious, by a show of hands, say yes. Okay, interesting. How many of you originally, when you first got confronted with the opportunity to join It Works, maybe felt some of those same things as well? Put a hand up in the air, yes or no, right? So you mean to tell me right now that you got on this call tonight because you were like, I want to make more what? I want to have more energy. I want to have a tighter butt. I want to have more love, more passion, more energy. And you can't even change your damn thumbs. This is what we call a BAP. Are you ready for what that means? Big ass problem. All right? We got to be able to change our patterns because we are in control. It goes from the WAP to a BOP, okay? That's what we got going on here. A BOP, BAP. We have to be able to change our patterns. So I'm going to teach you guys what this looks like. You heard in that beautiful bio that Jade read that I have a program with Tony that we call Unleash Her Power Within. And it's basically just this. It's a badass community of women, and we go to all the Tony Robbins events together so that no one has to go alone, and we train and we do fun things. But one of the terms that we train on is we actually transform the way our brain uses action and risk. Like, how many of you feel like you would have a completely different role or career if you were just taking more action and you enjoyed it? Anybody here? So we actually reprogram the brain to do that, because all those patterns are things we practiced. Now, it's important to know that you, write this down, you are not your pattern. You are not your pattern. Okay. So even if you've been running a pattern for the last 10 years, I mean, true or false, you're not the same person you were 10 minutes ago when we got on the call, right? Things change. You change. You have the freedom to change. Something tonight can completely transform the way you show up. If you've sucked in business, if you've had a crappy 2020, all right, Who cares? Dust yourself off, because the moment you make a decision to make a change, can everything in your life change? Yes or yes? So we've got to be able to navigate the change. So shake your body out. Shake your body out. Shake your body out. I'm going to teach you something right now called the dance. The what? The what? Awesome. The dance. Now I'm going to dance for you right now. This time it's free. Next time you have to pay for it. Okay? Here's the dance. The dance means you are sort of straddling, navigating what you really, really, really want versus what's comfortable. What you really, really, really want versus maybe what you fear. And you're doing a little bit of this, follow me. Everyone just move with me right now. We're doing a little bit of this. We're like, here's really what I want. I want the diamond. I want to be on the stage. I want to create the team. I want to have the family. I want to retire my husband. I want to retire my wife. I wanted all this future, this glory here. And then here's a little bit of fear, or maybe things I've dealt with, or old crappy patterns. And that keeps me this way. And then we're dancing. I'm just curious. How many of you here have been dancing in 2020? How many of you are dancing in your life in this present moment? You're dancing between something you really want. Maybe you're dancing in your marriage. Maybe you're dancing in your health, right? We've conditioned ourselves to certain dances. Every single one of you has a dance that you run in your head. So then what happens is sometimes when we're dancing, and tell me if you relate to this, if I'm just making it up, sometimes you can be pushing yourself so close to the edge, right? When it's something you really want and you're going for it and you're training, you're doing everything that you can. And you're sometimes so close to that moment that it's so stressful. You almost want to vomit, right? Like you're about to send that message, or you're about to make that decision, or buy the Peloton, or hire the coach, or go for the thing, or have that conversation with your spouse or your kid. And you're so close to it that it's like it takes over the biochemistry makeup of your body. Who's ever been there before? So what we train these women to do, and even myself, I went through the training first. I coached myself first. That's how we created it. Was that when you're in the dance happens when you're changing what? Patterns, and it starts to feel uncomfortable. Okay, you're uncomfortable, boom, you're in the dance. Now, what happens when you're in the dance? You're now in control of making a what? Decision. Do I step up or do I shrink? There's two options, right? No movement is a choice, and it's basically the shrinking. Now, if you're constantly in this dance and you keep picking the easy way out, shrinking into what's comfortable, shrinking into the fear, shrinking into the monotony, the same thing over and over and over, that comfort zone, who we've always been, our old self. If we keep doing this, is that getting us closer or further from where we want to go? Which one? Further, and it wastes way more what? Time. Now, none of you would logically do that to yourselves, but when our patterns are running on autopilot, it makes sense that we could wake up 4, 5, 6, 7 years later and find that we are way farther away from where we want to go, and we're calling this good. We're giving it a label, but it's a lot further away from where we know we're destined to be. How many of you see what I mean right now? Who's following me? Just curious. Are you guys with me? Are you connected to this? Are you with me? So if you would agree with what I just said here, then you would also have to agree that we have to get stronger at making decisions in the dance. Who's with me? Say yes. So how do you do that? I'm going to teach you a term. You're going to tattoo this on your arm. I promise you. It's going to be the mantra of this team. Jade, you keep using this every single week when you get on. When you're in that dance, there's one thing that you have to do. Are you ready? I mean, I can't tell if you're ready. I feel like I need more energy in the comment box. There's one thing that you're going to do. Write this down. Puke and rally. Not the one from college. I'm watching it. You're like, I'm good at that. I know that one. Puke and rally. When you feel that moment of such discomfort, of anxiety, pain, fear, you've got to tell yourself, puke and rally. Now, what if every single time you felt that trigger of anxiety or fear, you started moving forward and stepping up and taking this action, even though you were uncomfortable? Do you think that would change anything in this business of yours? And in turn, would that change anything in, I don't know, your bank account, or maybe your body, or maybe in your marriage? Transforming your relationship with risk and action will transform your life. That's called how big of a shift? So my question for you is tonight, do I have your permission to push you to the end of your comfort zone? Because nothing tonight will be comfortable. I will promise you that. But if you're willing, at some point today, you're going to be making some decisions, some point in this training. And if you're willing to really be pushed to the end of what's been comfortable for you for maybe years, right? Then this is that moment where you let me know. Because I'm going to push you guys because I love you guys. And if we're going to spend a couple hours together, I'm going to give you my all. My promise is I will give you everything I have. I hope you can feel that from me. I absolutely love what I do, but I need your 100% on the other end. Are you all in? Are you all in to make tonight different than any other night? This training different than this night is the night. This is the moment. This is the time. So I want you to jot this down. There are 3 pillars that if you control these 3 pillars in your business, like let's not get clouded with everything that we could do right now. There's so much innovation happening. Let's go back to basics. If there's 3 things that you manage in your business this year with It Works, there's 3 things. And if you want to know what the 3 pillars are, put yeah, baby in the comment box. Put yeah, baby in the comment box. All right, jot this down. SAM. All right, pillar number 1, S, stands for strategy. Type that in the comment box. Stands for what? Stands for what? Shout it out. Awesome, strategy. This is your business plan or your plan of action. How many of you have an action plan built into your schedules? Show of hands. It's an overwhelming 0 people, okay? Those of you that maybe have one, how well are you implementing the action plan? Usually we have, a drop off with the implementation. Okay, I appreciate your honesty. Truly, if you're not honest, can you grow? No, if we can call it tight and be really real with ourselves, I promise you guys tonight will transform everything in your business. So clearly we have to have a strategy, not a pre-COVID strategy, not a wait until COVID's over strategy. We've got to have a strategy for the right now, present moment. Who would agree with that? Put a hand up, say yes. And when your strategy is in play, also, Jade told me there's a lot of mamas on here, and I just do a quick salute to you because I've got a dog and it's much different, way different. But, a lot of the women that I work with in the programs I run for Tony, about 75% are mothers. And we always talk about this. And I think that this would support you, not because I know in my own experience, but just what I know from several of the moms that I work with. There's 2 strategies that you actually need, right? You need a strategy for the business and a strategy for how your business will operate with your new home environment with Corona, right? Because some of you are hanging out with your partners more now than you've ever have. You're like, do I even like you anymore? Do I even like my kids anymore? You got your kids at home, the dog's home, everyone wants snacks. You got your partners home. You've got everyone there with you. Proximity is creating some perhaps friction. And the first thing to slip sometimes is the business, right? Because you work from home, because you have all the opportunities. But if you have these big goals and you're dancing and it's just comfortable for you to keep choosing this, we have to reprioritize the strategy. So it's not an or, it's an and. But that means that we have to be in control of that strategy. Who sees what I mean right now? Say yes. Now, the key fundamental component of a strategy is something that Tony teaches at all of his events, but I'd love to offer it to you tonight just for perspective. And that element of strategy, write this down if you can, is called leverage. Leverage. Leverage is basically, and some of you already said it earlier, leverage is your compelling reason why to do something, right? Why would you build a multiple 6-figure, direct sales business? Why would you wake up early in the morning to hit a workout when you have 7 kids in virtual soccer practice, right? Why would you do all these things? Now, in your life, any of you, and just be honest with me for a second, have any of you at any point in your life ever had people think you were crazy? Maybe you had no money to. Maybe there was, on paper, you shouldn't have been able to do the things that you were doing. That's one thing that inspires me about Jade. She was like, I was a hairstylist. I shouldn't be here. I should be having this success. She's like, it's crazy that I have this. She's so humble about it. But how many of you at any point in your life have ever, on paper, there's no way you could do what you did. But somehow, some way, you just said, there's no door, so I'm going to fucking build a door. There's no way, so I'm going to find a way. No one supports me, but I support me. Everyone's telling me left, but my gut's telling me right, and I trust myself. Have any of you ever had a moment in your life where you moved, took insane amounts of action, so you had leverage? Guess what? Leverage changes. Maybe you had leverage when your spouse lost their job, so you really revved it up in this business in April, May, or June, and then they got a new job, and then you had no reason to work. Maybe your babies are really small and you're putting food on the table and you're the sole provider. And then you found the love of your life, reconnected, money wasn't a problem, didn't have any reason to work. Leverage changes, but you have your own recipe. You don't need this call tonight to get something. We're unleashing something. Unleash the power within is named that for a reason. You have everything inside of you already. It's tapping back into that. Feed the beast. You know what I mean here? Feed the beast. We go back to that moment. We figure out what your recipe was then. We reinvent leverage, right? Leverage. What does the lever do? It moves something that's heavy. And we're going to get you back to a place of aggressive action. Here's an example. If it was your birthday, let's say Tessie Carter. Let's say it's Tessie Carter's birthday and she hates reading. And I'm like, girlfriend, Tessie girl, happy birthday. Here is a Harry Potter book. You guys tell me in the comment box, is she going to read that book? Let's say I give her the exact same book, but I say Tessmeister Flex. Inside this book, Harry Potter book, scattered across 13 random pages, is the address to $98 million. Now is she going to read the book? It's like how many times? Because she has the what? What we want to do tonight is similar to what Tony does at our live events, is he helps people create so much leverage that you start to run to your business and in your life the way you would run into a Harry Potter book with $98 million in it. Are you following me? Are you with me? Give me a I'm with you, KK. That's what we're here for tonight. So we need a strategy with leverage, but you could have the greatest strategy in the world. And how many of you know this? You know what I'm about to say. If you do not take action, is your strategy going to get you anywhere? Hell no. The pendulum has swung. I'm going to do something right now, say something that might make some of you log off and not stay on any longer, and I'm okay with that. People say I'm freaking crazy. I say good. I am. Like, I'm not here to make you super happy. I'm here to tell you like it is. The pendulum has swung to a place where we're not taking action unless we're aligned and the stars aligned and the cards are stacked in my favor and the Mercury is no longer in retrograde and all the things are perfect and the door has opened for us. It's like, who stacks your deck, right? Who aligns your stars? If you want something, you gotta what? We can't just walk around peeing glitter expecting to be making $700,000 black diamond in this business. It only comes with movement. Are you capable? Is it in you? Does the beast live inside of you? I'm going to teach you something really quick in 10 seconds flat. It's going to transform the action you're taking in your business, okay? Action. This is a key pillar. This is for network marketing specifically, okay? It's called the Power 5. Power what? How many calls are you making? Outreach, DMs, connections, LinkedIn, social media, Facebook, calls, texts, right? How many calls are you making? Out of those calls, how many deals are you getting? Out of those deals, how many referrals are you getting? Out of those referrals, how many more deals are you getting? And number 5, what are you doing for client service or follow-up? How do you make people feel when they work with you, right? If you want to win in business, there's 2 things you need to do. Write this down. Add more value than anyone else in your market. And number 2 is create a raving fan community. That's how you succeed in business. Do you remember the businesses that were just good? Or do you remember the people that absolutely sucked? Or you remember the people that went above and beyond for you? Add more value than anyone else. That's the 5th pillar there. You do those 5 things alone. Will that transform your business? Yes or yes? Yes or yes. Give it to me in the comment box. Now you can do this. You can take a bunch of action. You can have a strategy, but we all know those people that have a kick butt strategy. They make 100 calls a day. They follow what their leader, their guide told them to do, and they still are successful. Who's ever been there before? Have you ever been there before? Who's there right now, right? You're like, I'm freaking doing everything. I'm on every damn call. I've read all the mindset books. I know this stuff, but we're not making it happen. Here's what I'm curious. What would happen if I picked up the phone and I was like, hey, Sarah, you wouldn't want to buy any keto coffee from me, would you? With zero confidence, connection, mentality, or owning yourself, right? The third pillar here is the most important pillar that I'll talk about today. This is what Tony has created his empire on. This is what he teaches best, and it's mindset. 80% of your success in your business, in your life, in your relationships comes from your mind. When you are in a peak state, that's basically level 10. Peak what? Peak what? Shout it out. Peak state. How many of you can tell that I'm in a peak state right now? I can relate a lot to you guys. When I started with Tony 2 years ago, I was in field sales. And we're the only company that has old school field sales. Tony would tell me to pick up a pebble, throw it, and wherever it landed, that was the business that I would walk into. And I would go door to door to door to door. They had no idea I was walking in. I would walk in empty-handed. I would walk out with thousands of dollars in my hands. Did you think that I was able to do that because I said, you wouldn't want to buy anything from me, would you? You have to own yourself. When I started in the business, people used to say, oh, you're working with that, you're the fire walking. What is that? Some cult drinking the Kool-Aid. In the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm dabbling in it. I'm doing it on the side. Yeah, I just started the job. I don't know. How many of you have ever been there before where you're kind of doing the thing and you sort of tell the people in your family and you sort of tell your friends? Are you successful when you're kind of in, when you're dipping your toe in the water, or when you jump the F in? Which one? Now someone asks me, I say, I'm fucking swimming in the Kool-Aid because I own myself. I own my business. For your business, you got to do the bio test. Are you willing to put it works on your bio? Say, this is who I'm affiliated with. This is what I do. Own yourself to the point that people have absolute clarity about what you do and who you are. And you're so confident that it repels people that you don't want and it magnetizes the people that you do. That's good marketing. If you don't have outsiders, you don't have insiders. Seth Godin, write that down. You've got to own yourself. 80% of your success in this business for the 64 days left in this year, the only thing you should be focusing on is what lives between your eyeballs. 80% of your success is your mindset. It's the ability to take consistent action every single day, have an unstoppable mental attitude, the confidence in yourself, in the market, in your job, in your team, knowing there's opportunity everywhere around you. You're so fired up. You can't wait to get out of bed in the morning. You don't want to go to bed at night. You're lit up in a peak state with laser focus on your outcomes, doing whatever it takes, prospecting daily, making those extra calls, asking for a referral every single time you do business. Why? Why would you do stuff like that? Because that's who the hell you are, right? Would you have joined this company, this industry, if you weren't already a little different? I've been different my whole life. I've never fit in with anybody, but here today, I feel like I'm already best friends with you guys. I'm pretty much doing all the talking here, but I feel connected to you. Why? Because successful people hang out with who? Birds of a feather flock where? Lazy people hang out with who? There's a reason you are here. There's a reason you made it here. Feed the what? That lives in you. This is you. We just want this to be you more often. We want this pattern to show up more often. Who feels something in their body like literally like a buzz, an energy, a heartbeat, like a flushed face, who feels something different in their body tonight, perhaps different than maybe you felt in a long ass time. Say yes. Feed the what? You didn't have to go out and get 10 more years of experience to feel this way. You're creating it from inside of you. You're in a peak what? Sit up in your seats with lots of energy. In a peak state, shoulders back, head up. 80% of what you create this year will come from this version of you. How many of you are willing to decide to show up as this version of you more often? Because I'll tell you the truth, majority of people are focusing on what will give them hardly any results, which is the other 20%. That's the mechanics. How to do something, the experience you think you need, the job you think you need. 20% is your mechanics, you know, right? Truly, we need to develop the mental toughness, straight up, the ability to unleash this mentality so that we can have the drive and the will and the conviction and the determination to take action every single day, even when it rains on our parade, even when someone shoots you down, even when your kids are bananas, even when someone pisses you off, even when everything goes wrong, you're still committed. No one else can do that for you. That's a decision that we make. This is why 50% of women in sales give up. Are you ready for this fact? After the first time they hear the word no. Sometimes before they even ask the what. Right? How many of you have talked yourself out of an action before you ever went for it? It takes 7 no's. And I'm telling you this because not that I know everything, but Tony is the #1 sales trainer that has ever existed on the planet. It takes 7 no's to initiate the sales process. So if we're giving up after the first no or before we ask the what, that means one of 2 things. We either don't believe in our products, which I know is a damn lie, right? Skinny coffee, come on. Or second, you don't believe in who? You got to get real about yourself with that. Because if it's the latter, you can fix it, but you got to focus on this muscle. We cannot manage what we do not measure. So I'm going to ask you to get raw and real right now and measure your reality. This is an exercise that Tony does with my team personally, and I'm going to do it with you guys tonight. If you're willing, I mean, I need a little energy here. You're willing to do this exercise. What we need to do right now is get clarity. We need to figure out where you are. You, not all of you as a unit, you specifically. Where the hell do you want to go? And how will you close the gap to get there? And the way that we're going to do that is get clear, very clear on where we are right now. We are going to call it tight. Write that down. Call it tight. That means you actually state the truth. Leaders always say things are better than they are. How's the business? It's going pretty well for COVID. How is it really? I guess it's actually terrible. I've sold, less than a quarter of what I usually sell. It's affecting my marriage. It's affecting my life. How's the marriage, by the way? Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah. When's the last time you've been intimate? 4 months ago. How's it going really? I guess actually maybe not that great. We've got to call it what? Shout it out. We got to call it tight here. So I'm going to ask you right now, if you were to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 and give yourself a true rating, don't do it yet, but if you were to give yourself a true rating, where would it be on this scale? A 1 is like you're basically dead, like dead from the neck up, right? Frustrated, pissed off, upset. You got the good life. We do the same thing over and over and over again. We're washing the dishes, we're doing our chores, daydreaming about the life that we actually want. That's a 1. A 10 is you're doing so unbelievably phenomenal. You could write a manual on success, give it to every single person on this call. You would all be multi-millionaires, living on a yacht in Fiji, flexing your butt in thong bikini and loving the way it looks, ripping, roaring money, donating to all the causes of your choice. That's a 10. And I remember when I started with the team, I rated myself at a 10 because I was like, I'm working for Tony Robbins. Like, I'm not really sure how much better it can get. And one of my teammates told me this story about one of my idols. Okay, one of my idols who attended. We have this event called Unleash the Power Within. That's the event, if you listen to my bio, that I basically work it for. I have a big community of women that I bring to every Tony event. It's the tried and true event that he's been doing for 40 years. You walk across fire. Has anyone heard of this event before? Like, you literally walk on fire. We just made it virtual. It's the first event that I attended, the one that took me from $38,000 to 1.4 million in less than 2 years. And that event literally transformed my psychology. It's not about, business tactic. It's like rewiring your nervous system. And so at that event, one of my mentors went. And honestly, this is the reason why I went to the event, because I was like, she went to the event, I'm freaking going to the event. And this person, that one of my colleagues told me the story about her going to the event in 2006. And the first day of the event, it's called Fear into Power. And it's called Breakthrough, Fear into Power. So it's the day you have all the breakthroughs, right? You spend 13 hours with Tony. He doesn't even get off stage to pee. And you're doing this work where you're transforming your mind and getting back to what your peak state is. Like the way you guys feel right now. Like, how many of you would want to just have that be who you are? Not something that you just felt on a call like one time with KK, but it was just, you woke up and you felt like that. You went to the bathroom, you felt like that. You had a bad call and you felt like that. Like, just a part of who you are. So on day one, you learn this called peak state, right? You don't learn it teacher student style. Like, it literally becomes a part of you physically, mentally, and emotionally. You're training it like a muscle. I remember being there and like looking around and being like, why didn't I know this exists sooner? Right. And so this mentor of mine goes to this event on the first day, Fear into Power. And the end of the first day is when you do the fire walk, where you walk across 15 feet of burning hot coals with your bare feet. Well, we can talk more about that. But basically, she does this, and then you get off, and then you do the exercise you're doing 1 to 10. Right before you walk in the fire, you do that exercise, and then you break through, right? And this person, we'll see if you know who this is. Mentor of mine since I've been a young girl. This person comes from extremely humble beginnings, creates a legacy out of her life. She commands a room of millions of people in the drop of a second. She gives more to others. Yes, Oprah Winfrey. Chills just saying her name. And she storms across the fire at UPW. She's like, Gah! You should look up the YouTube video. Dear friends with Tony Robbins, goes to UPW, crushes it, rates herself. Where do you think? I mean, it's Oprah, for God's sakes. What do you think her rating is? 10, 10, 10, 5, 5, 8, 10, a 3. And I'm like, crossing out my 10. I'm like, I hope no one saw that. A 3. I must be a -4. I don't even know the scale anymore. I'm confused. And I learned something that changed my damn life. She said, I rated myself at a 3 because a majority of people forget what they're capable of. They start off in their business or they start off in their life and they said, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to create this. And then I'm going to have this vision and I'm going to create this abundance. I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And then she said, and then life has its way with you, like a big old wave that comes down and fist bumps you and you knock off. Right. And you've got the kids and the divorce and the thing that happened 5 years ago and life and then COVID and the finances and these things chip away at your ceiling of potential, your standard. And then you take this ceiling that you have, this vision, this standard, and then we shrink it so that we match our existing reality. And then she says you get people rating themselves at a 7, 8, 9, or 10 compared to a low ass standard. But if they got reconnected with what they are capable of as a soul, their life would look a lot different. You guys tell me, this is a Tony Robbins event, for God's sakes. Is tonight about low standards or high standards? So what I want to know is, what if tonight, I don't know, changed everything? What if something happened to you tonight, cracked in you, awakened you, and you started to get reconnected to that larger vision? You raised your standard. I'm curious, how many of you right now actually feel like that's what's happening here tonight? So let's say you do that. I want to know right now in the comment box, where are you showing up compared to that? Where are you showing up every day in this business, in your relationships, just in general? Where are you showing up right now compared to that? So our average right now as a team, and is this a committed team? Yes or yes? Is this truly a committed team? You'll go all the way. You'll go no matter what. You've got each other's back. You'll hold each other up. You'll coach each other. You'll take each other with you. Your success is her success. You will rise together. As a team right now, we're averaging, and I'm a part of your team, so this is me too. We're averaging at about, I'm going to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room here, but a 4. Okay. What does that mean if we're a 4? What does that mean? What does that tell me as your trainer tonight? Okay, we've got room for growth. We need you. Level up. Breakthrough. Higher standards. We have to level up. Okay, great. Let me give you just a quick pattern interrupt. What if I told you that a 4 was really great news? What if that meant that you have 60% room to improve in the final 64 days of the year? How many of you want a 60% raise in the next business quarter? How many of you want a 60% increase in your love, zest, passion, spunk, intimacy in the next 12 months? Say yes. How many of you want more energy, more vitality, more freedom in the next 12 months? Say yes. How many of you want a tighter butt in the next 12 months? Say yes. All right, look at all of you guys. Greedy, you want everything, right? You all want 60% more. Doesn't everybody in the world want 60% more? How come only some people actually get it? Because some people are willing to make how big of a shift? How big of a shift? Am I asking too much here tonight? So here's what we've got to know. If you were to be raw and real with yourself, if you were to call it what? If you were to call it what? Tight. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to do an exercise. And you have to call it tight for me. Grab a pen, 30 seconds, shake your body out. It's the most important thing that you will do all day today. I keep saying that and it keeps being true, okay? 30 seconds and you're going to take your pen, get it ready to write something down. 30 seconds as fast as you can. You need to be honest with yourself. If right now you are showing up at a 4 compared to that vision, why? Why? Why has that become a pattern? Why have we become habituated to it? What's really holding you back? Not the surface answer, not like, oh, me, I am. What about you? Right? Excuses. What excuse? You don't have the time. My kids. I don't have the money. I've never had the money. I'm lazy, someone says. How many of you are lazy here from time to time? Look at, no one got a hand all the way up in the air. Look at all you lazy asses. You're like dangling it to the side. So you got a lot in common here. I see fear of success, fear of failure, fear of being too much, fear of not being enough, fear of pain, fear of joy, fear of rejection, fear of love, fear of criticism, fear of causing someone else pain, fear of getting to the next level, fear of being more successful than your spouse, fear of what other people will what? Fear of what other people will what? Say, so you've got fear, you've got not worthy, you've got time, right? We've got opinions, procrastination, lazy, comparison, lack of focus, uncomfortable, insecurities. I quote, didn't come from wealth. AKA a story that we tell ourselves and then we fulfill the story, right? Stuck in my own ways, time, lazy. How many of you would agree with me, real quick, that to be successful in any area of your life, you must first have a plan? Yes or yes? You've got to commit to executing the plan. And you have to have an unstoppable mental attitude. How many of you would also agree, be real, that some of these things you just wrote down are some of the exact same things holding you back in other areas of your life, not just your business. Does your health affect your income? Does your income affect your emotional relationships? Do your emotional relationships affect your overall happiness? 50% of divorces in America today, they come from financial hardship, right? Everything is intercorrelated. Everything we're experiencing here, they're all connected. What are all these things? What would you call these things? I can't do it. I don't come from wealth. I can't do it. I don't have the time. I can't do it. I'm lazy. I can't do it like Jade. She has 24,000 followers. I'll never have that. I'm too old. I'm too young. Excuses, sort of. Tony has a more scientific term he uses. Jot this down. He calls this your BS. What does that stand for? What does it stand for? Shout it out. What does that stand for? Sort of. You guys are close. It stands for belief system. Some of you guys wrote down bullshit. You think I'm going to come into your homes and swear in front of your children? My gosh, you're all yelling out bullshit on your end of the screen. Belief system. Your belief system is the most important system in your world. Why do you think that one person on this call right now is kicking major ass and somebody else with the same training and the same resources and the same keto coffee isn't doing anything? Or one person in the middle of a global pandemic is transforming their business, having the most healthy body they've ever had in their lives, deeper connection with their partner than ever in the world, and someone else feels like everything was taken from them? How come somebody has deep, loving, passionate, world-lit on fire relationships and another person can't find the way? Or how come somebody is busy as hell and they still find a way to hydrate and eat right consistently and hit the damn gym? Someone conditions themselves to always find a way, break through, make it happen. And someone else has a pattern of shrinking in the dance over and over and over again. It's a belief system. How many of you are following me right now? The good news, the great news is that you are not your what? Pattern. You're not your pattern. All of these beliefs here, these are patterns. These belief systems, these are patterns that we've run. Can you change them? Can you completely annihilate? Can you destroy them? That's what Tony's been training people to do for 40 years. Yes, you can. And I want you to circle yours right now. Circle all of that limitation, everything you wrote down, put a circle around it. What you just showed me right there is one of your operating systems of you as a human. That's your limited belief system. It's one version of you. But what's interesting is that if your kid would describe you, he wouldn't say mama has fear, self-doubt, unworthy, scared of everybody, is a procrastinator, is in her comfort zone. Would your kid say that about you? Through your child's eyes, would they ever look at you and see that? What about the version of you on the call right now? Would you describe this version of you like that? Or hell no? So what's going on? You have what? Multiple personality disorders? This version of you shows up when you're in the what? When you're in the what? But if you coach yourself and you can see, wow, I'm in the dance right now. And wow, my pattern is to go back to my limited belief system, my old self, because that's what I'm craving, because that's what I've practiced and I own that. And right now I'm dancing and my body wants to go to, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I'll never be able to make it happen. People don't like me. It's never going to be possible. And that's what my brain wants to do because I've conditioned it that way. But as long as you no longer endorse it, then you no longer endorse the old program. That's the old self, not where you're going. Who sees this? By show of hands, who's following me? I named mine, all right? Griselda. That's the name I gave my limited ass belief system. Grizzy for short. You tell me, what's a nasty ass name you could, and you know this, your partners sure know this version of you when it comes out, right? When you're hungry, long ass day. Had the kids all day, virtual learning. How many of you have a significant other that knows this version of you? Jezebel, Ursula, Penelope, Martha, Karen, Felicia, Carol Baskin, right? Gertrude, Hanger, Cynthia, Zelda, Agnes, Octavia, Ingrid. You better write that name on there. And you're going to call that version of yourself. We need to separate ourselves from that. because that's not who we are. How many of you see this? And for you to get where you want to go, can this version of you show up any longer? So that means we must make a what? We must make, you guys, I'm firing myself up. I'm about to go. I don't know what I'm going to do after this call, but I'm so fired up. I'm about to take over the world. Okay. If I'm firing myself up, I hope it's transferring through this computer screen right now. That means that tonight we've got to make a decision. This is one of those moments. We have to decide to annihilate, to eradicate, to destroy that limitation by choice. It's not just going to get up and walk away. Every single time it shows up, we've got to catch it. We have to say, I'm in the dance. Griselda's showing up. That's not who I am. What would this version of me do? And then we move forward. We puke in what? We puke in what? Rally. So what I'm going to show you next is how these limitations are determining your entire life, what's in your bank account, how successful your business is, what's showing up in your relationship, how you are as a mother. Those beliefs equal your life. And there's limiting beliefs, but there's another system, a sexier system, a system that all of us want to develop deeper. Do you want to know what that system is? How many of you want to know? 10 of you want to know, or 20 of you want to know, or what, 1,000 of you want to know? What? It's your empowered belief system. It's a completely different version of you. It's the version of you on this call tonight, right? The version of you, by the way, you paid for tonight, right? So you invested your time, your money, your resources to be here tonight. And by the way, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. Point blank. We'll have companies pay to have us come in. Ellen DeGeneres' team, you had Fox Sports, you heard a few of them when Jade shared it. Hell no. They want to send their employees to the UPW events? No. Hell no. If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. When I went to a UPW event, I paid literally over $3,000. I was swimming in debt for my master's degree. I had no money. I had no vacation days left. But something inside of me said, I have to go. I got to go. So I figured it the hell out, right? How many of you could sell a product, could do something to figure it out? It's like, that is the juice. That's the juice of life. Nothing comes when it's handed to you, ever. And if we believe that in our brain, we get that in our lives. So what I'm going to show you right now is a system that Tony teaches to people we have an event called Unleash the Power Within. Oh, I wrote it here. It's for short, it's UPW. And we have this thing he teaches on the second day of it, and it's called the success cycle. And I promised him I wouldn't teach too much. I would leave like a decent cliffhanger because he teaches it for like 6 hours. I don't have that luxury tonight. I think I'm going to teach it for about 6 minutes, but it's something that I go over with the women that I bring to the event in deep, deep, deep detail. Because in our program, we build identity, right? So I have one called Sasha Fierce, and then I have Griselda. I've got 2 of them. And so I'm going to sort of show you a medley of this system that he trains people on at the events, and then combine with some identity training, because that's my true passion. And this system, right? People are paying thousands of dollars to learn. So if you're down for it, I'd love to show you in the next 6 to 8 minutes, the success cycle. All right. This is something that's going to show you how your beliefs transfer into your bank account. All right. And if you want to learn more about it, you can go to a live event with Tony. They're a couple $1,000s. We have them coming up virtually. Super fun. All right. So this is the success cycle right here. If you want to write this down, copy this down. The bottom left-hand box, I'm going to write results in it. Okay. Results. By a show of hands, how many of you want to get results? I don't know, this year, for the next 12 months, for the remainder of 2020. Great. Say yes. Awesome. Now, is it possible? How many of you already came up with some results that you want to get in 2020? Okay, cool. Is it possible, you just tell me, that if Griselda, or you had all this BS in your life, and then this version of you is coming up with your results, is it possible that that version of you came up with some BS standards, some BS results? You said, oh, I could probably do $2K in revenue a month. Griselda could, but what about this version of you? What about the truth, right? So we pitch and catch with ourselves, and we diminish what we actually are capable of when we think about it from our limited place, our limited space. Who sees what I'm talking about right now? Say yes. So what we're going to do right now is answer a question, a really simple one. Let's say that right now something inside of you is like burning and you're like, KK, whatever Kool-Aid you have, I want it. I'm on the KK train. Let's effing go. I'm ready to light this bad boy up for 64 days. I'm ready to annihilate my limiting BS. I'm ready to get out of my chair, claim my identity, serve to the world, wave my flag, and stake my claim and make this thing happen. How many of you feel like that? I don't know. I'm just curious, right? I'm freaking sweating my ass off up here because I'm so excited. What's going on in your head, right? If that's where you're at right now, and this feels like that moment, this feels like that night where you make this true for you, then I want to know when you get off this call and you give your all and you move your poor ass 4 to a 10 and you start tapping into 60% more of what you're capable of, what I want to know is how much money would you make in 12 months from today? If you show up like that every day, this version of you. I want to know the actual number and give me the number per year, okay? Don't make me do any math here. I want to know the per year number, not per month, per year. And every one of you right now, write this number down inside of your result box. Physically write it. We do that for a reason, okay? So we've got 200K, 240K, 500, 552, 400, a million, 250, 700, 60K, a million, 250, 500, a million, 276, 500, 240, 100K, 700K, 500K. So our average right now, I'm going to call that about, 450,000. How many of you on this call want to make 450,000 or more in the next 12 months? Say yes. Now, some of you are like, well, money's not everything. I want time freedom and I want to do this thing with my kids. Here's the deal, okay? You can't manage what you don't measure, and we need something to measure ourselves. What's the truth here? If you become the woman you need to become to make $450,000, and that woman probably, do you think she has this BS or no? Can you make $450,000 and be insecure? Can you make $450,000 and from where you are to where you want to go and be afraid of rejection? No, those compete against each other. So that means that you have to annihilate your BS. You're bringing in 450K. Is it likely that you're going to make some other kick-ass things happen in your life as well? What are some other things you would do? What are some other things that version of you would do specifically, right? What would you launch the blog, write the book, travel, write music and release it, buy a house, I'd eat well, I'd have the body of my dreams, I'd feel incredible naked, travel, debt-free, start a business, hire a chef, buy a house, pay off my debt, travel, have a podcast, jump out that damn airplane, get Botox, have kids, buy a Tesla, buy a house, debt-free, retire, get a book, retire my partner, pay off debt, retire my husband, whatever I freaking want, donate, get a maid, hire a house, travel. I hope you're writing this down on your sheet of paper. Allow your body to release it, right? You write, you invite. Student loans will be gone. Pay off debt. Buy a house with a pool. Hire a cook. Eat out all the time. Buy a farm. Pay off the house. Bora Nora. Help my parents. Bora Bora. There we go. Retire. Help my kids. Laser hair removal. Great choice, by the way. Write the book. Invest. Hire a house cleaner. So there are many things that you would do here in this result box. So just because I said money does not mean that's the only thing I care about. Here's why we're talking about it. Are you ready? And by the way, if there's something right now in the next 20 minutes that you're like, should I stay or should I leave? Which one should you do? Most people give up how far away from the finish line? That's how close you are. You're about to learn some things that will transform your business, transform your life. Don't give up before the finish. Don't convince yourself you've gotten everything that you need to get. There's a reason we save the best for the last, okay? You're here, you're crushing it, you're kicking ass. The question is now. It has nothing to do with these results, right? Because people can take that away from you. They can take away the money, they can take away the cars, they can take away the boats and the laser hair removal, or it'll grow back, whatever, the Tesla. They can take those things away. What no one can take away is the woman you become in the process. I see some of you right now with your kids on your laps and in the screens. Would that be a better mom, woman version of you for your kids to meet? Sometimes we say when we invest in ourselves, when we go all in on ourselves, when we eliminate our BS and focus time on ourselves, it's selfish because we're taking time away from other people. The most selfish thing that we could do is restrict the people that we love from meeting the version of us that we're actually destined to be. This version of you is begging you to step up, right? Because we're examples or we are warnings. We are examples of what possible or we are warnings of what not to do. If your children, if your downline, if your family grew up and you installed your BS, your Griselda, your belief system into them, and they grew up with the same lack of openness, procrastination, fear and doubt, insecurities, is that a win? I'll tell you why a lot of people struggle with this. Because for far too long, this version of you, and not you specifically, but for people, that version of them has been a luxury. When I do this, this, and this, and this, then I'll focus on getting myself right. When I hit this ranking or this level, then I'll work on that. Since when is you being the most profound version of you that can support your life, support the creation, the divine gifts that your God has given you or whatever you believe in, right? Since when is that a luxury? Or is that mandatory? Is that your mandatory human right? But sometimes we ask for permission. We serve every other need around us before we own that part of ourselves. We've got to name this version of ourselves because this is the version of you sitting on the call tonight, isn't it? The version of you that moved your calendar to be here. It's a different version of you that shows up in other places of your life, doesn't it? This is a different version of you, yes or yes. What would you name her? I've named mine Sasha Fierce, after Beyonce. Michelle Obama, Shira, Sassy Sista, Mariah, Queen C, Jelena, Jessie, Evie, J-Lo, Oprah, Queen Bitch, The Truth, Brat, Triss, Queen, Nicole. In order for you to become her, are there specific and measurable actions that you must take on a day-to-day basis? Yes or yes? And a little bit of action or massive action? Massive action. And in order for you to take this action to produce this result, how much of your potential must you tap into? A little bit or all of it? And you guys, what's the potential of a human being? Unlimited. Majority of times humans are just settling for less than what they're capable of. Right? Who's the only person that can steal your potential? Yeah, no one's going to break into your house tonight and be like, where is it? Is it in the closet? Where do you keep the potential? Right? Like we do that crazy stuff every single day. We steal our own potential. In order for us to start tapping into all of this potential, which is a level what? Level what? Right? That's full potential, level 10. To take all of this action to produce this version of you, you tell me what type of belief do we need to train our brain to form about the market, the economy, our time, our talents, our skills? Negative or positive? Limiting or empowering? Empowering beliefs. But empowering beliefs alone are not going to take you to the promised land, right? We've got to take those beliefs and we've got to combine them with action. And then once you take that action, that's what produces a new pattern. How many of you are with me right now? Say yes. Say yes. Because you could get off this call tonight and you could be feeling amazing and you could have this peak state and have this energy, but you could wake up tomorrow and be confronted with an opportunity when you're in the dance and you still may choose this because we haven't executed with action. We're just relying on thoughts. We can't pea glitter and get results. It's got to happen in real life. How many of you see this right now? Say yes. So let's go back to Oprah, right? Actually, I'll tell you about myself. How many of you want to know my personal story? I'm not going to tell you the whole thing for the sake of time, but I remember my first UPW event. This is why I'm a part of this team. This is why I love this mission. This is why I believe every woman in the world should train on this content. Not just today. Don't let this be the end. Go do more programs. Go do more trainings. I remember when I went to my first event and we were in this stadium and there were all these people. And Tony said, later tonight, we're going to walk over fire. And then I was like to my neighbor, because you sit alone, you don't sit by people you know. I was like, did he say fire? And he was like, yeah, you like walk over fire. And I'm like, what? And then he puts this video up of these flames and they're like 15 feet high. And this is like 5 hours before the fire, and the fire is burning. Every 30 minutes, he chose an update of the flames, and it would start to simmer down and simmer down and simmer down. And I'm like getting to the point where I want to what? I want to what? I want to what? Right? I'm in the what? I'm in the dance. And then late at the end of the night, he puts the screen back up and the flames have simmered down all the way until it's a bed hot coals, red hot bed of coals simmering. You can hear it crackling. It's literally lit up with the fire. When it's like a bunch of like fuzzies running around and it's like that light orange, almost white color with red, and it's sizzling. I can hear it. I can feel it in my body. My feet are effing burning. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, there's no way that I can do that. Right? Because what? I'm not good enough. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. What if I burn my feet? Then I won't be able to go to work. Then I'll lose my job. Then I can't pay for this. And then I'm going to have an awful life. And I future trip. How many of you have ever been there before right now? Yeah. So I'm going up with all these reasons why I shouldn't do it. And then he says, take off your shoes and roll up your pant legs. And I'm like, shit, this is getting real. It's the moment that I had to make a decision. It's easy to sit here on the call all night tonight and sit on your little area with your chips and your chairs and in your PJs and do your thing. It's easy where you're at right now. But if I told you that I had a bed of coals set up outside your door, how many of you would shit yourselves, right? It's easy to sit where you're at. There's a difference between reading about how to go swimming and going swimming. There is a massive difference. And so he says, get up and walk outside. And I said, okay, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm walking outside and coming up with every reason why I can't do it. Every reason why I can't do it. Right. I'm too young. I don't need to do this right now. I'm so young. I have so many years I could do this. Meanwhile, I went to that event with my mom. My mom's like, I'm too old to do this shit. Right. We've all got our reasons. And I walk outside and I'm walking up to the fire and I'm trying to convince myself to get into this peak state, saying I can do it. And all of a sudden I see the coals and I literally want to barf. And I'm like, there's no effing way I can do that. So I turn around and I'm trying to get out and there's hundreds of people blocking me, right? I can't leave. So the only way out is what? Through. What a metaphor for your life, right? For your marriage, for this business, for everything you've ever held yourself back from executing on. The only way out is through. But I walked up to that fire and I turned around when I was how far away from the finish line? Sometimes we tell ourselves we've made it, but we're 2 millimeters away when we give up. Like we get to the end of this call. I was like, I did all 13 hours of the event. I filled out every single thing in my workbook. I did everything I possibly could. I'm set. I don't need to walk on fire to learn the knowledge. I get it. I know it. And then Tony, it rang in my ear. He says, if you don't fucking do it, you don't know it. How many of you know someone that listens to a self-help person one time and they're like, I know all this stuff. They're teaching self-help, right? Teaching self-education. They read a podcast one time. Your husband's telling you something, your wife's telling you something, your teammates like, I know it, I did it, right? We don't know it until we do it, until we live it. So I pick myself up and I look at the fire and I said, all right, what did I learn today? I've got to develop what kind of belief about this experience, limiting or empowering? Which one? Can I do this at a level 4? 10. So I stare at these coals. I need some more room here. I stare at these coals and something inside of me snaps. And I make this move and I wipe my feet and then I go for it. And I plow over the fire and I'm over like this and I get to the other side and I look back at the fire and I'm like, ah! If I can do that, I can do what? And I went from not knowing if I could afford a ticket to Tony Robbins to speaking on stage with him. And I don't share that with you for anything about myself. I share that with you. What is possible for you? What is possible for you? You join this business to change lives, to transform families, to use these incredible products that It Works has provided for you, this system, this family. And you have an opportunity to transform the lives of everyone around you. And I want to ask you a question right now, a serious question right now. If you have that option and your option B is to leave this call tonight with your baggage and live with that for another 5 years, another 5 years of being afraid of what people think, another 5 years of being insecure, another 5 years of fucking procrastinating, what option are you rolling with today? Is this the moment of decision where you actually decide, if those are my two options, I'm out? Because what if these things already cost you? If you were to ask yourself, have they cost you time? Have they cost you money? Have they cost you energy? Who's in your life? Who's not in your life because of these things? What have these things cost you? And are you willing to go another 3, 5, 10, 15 years of getting 2 millimeters away and giving up? That's a pattern too. Or does it change now? Does it completely transform now? Like if it does, I need you to sit up in your seats with lots of energy. Sit the way this version of you sits. Breathe the way this version of you breathes. Embody it right now. If this is the moment that everything changes for you, let's fast forward a year. Jade, I want you to connect with me in a year, okay? And I want to do this session for this team again in 1 year. Save this list from Eventbrite. I will come back with you in 1 year from today. I promise you. And I want to know in 12 months from this day, let's pretend that those BS beliefs never existed. The thoughts never existed in your brain, never even popped up for you. You were free from it. What do you create in your life? Where are you zooming in from? What does the room look like that you're in? What car did you drive to get to the home that you zoomed into that call? What clothes were you wearing? What does your body look like on that call? When you get on that call, what do you share, in the comment box about what you created? Is your family there? Are you in a relationship? You're retired and traveling. What is that call going to look like in 12 months? My commitment to you is that I will be on the Zoom in 12 months from today. But that decision starts with who? And you're going to get invited to that call. And if you jump on that call, and tonight was just another Zoom call you jumped on, right? Another training. And you get on that call and everything's the same. Let's pretend you fast forward 12 months from now and you're in the same outfit and the same house with the same bank account. And you're sitting on this call with everybody else, someone that decided tonight that this was the night that everything changed. And you're cross comparing, where would your life be if tonight you decided you were it, to invest in you, to step up for you? That's the difference here. Success and failure are 2 millimeters apart. The gift that you've been given tonight is from the most successful mindset and development coach to ever exist on the planet. Not me. I didn't do anything for you tonight. You showed up. You played all out. And now when you're in the dance, right? The dance. How many of you remember that? And you're dancing. You're going to dance tonight. You're going to dance tomorrow. You're going to dance this week. It's inevitable. But you no longer have to decide if you're going to step up or shrink, do you? You call upon this version of yourself. You say, what would Sasha do? What would Queen Bitch do? I can't believe that's the only one I remember from the list. What's that name? What are the names you guys gave yourselves? Clarity is power, right? And now you have clarity on what the true version of you is. I want you guys to develop that deeper, but you've got enough tonight to get yourself started. How many of you feel powerful inside of you right now? There's a few moments in our world and in our lives where we're connected to people that can transform everything. And I just really quick want to remind you that there is someone on this call that made this possible for you. And also, Jade, I want to thank you. You know, when I connected with Jade earlier, wow, I might cry tonight. Woo! There's a lot of emotions. I think Mercury is in retrograde, just being honest here. But you know, I connected with Jade and she shared her story and she literally just said, I want to provide something that's going to give people breakthroughs. I was asking her, what do you think they need? What do you think they need? And she just said, I want them to have a breakthrough tonight. And she did something in her business that every single one of you is capable of. 23 years old, hairstylist, one baby, right? Joined this business in 2 years, over $700,000 of income she created. That means that it's possible for who as well? So I want to know. I told you tonight you were going to make some decisions. This is that moment of decision. Moments of decision can shape your destiny. How many of you have decided right now in this moment that without a shadow of a doubt, you're not just going to put your hand up to go along with the group, but something in you tonight is different. And tonight you've committed beyond any limitation that you will move forward. You will pursue this life. You will do nothing but step up in that dance. Yes or yes. If you're 100% in, I want you to put yeah, baby in the comment box. Put yeah, baby in the comment box. Oh, I love you guys. Let me look at your pictures here. Flip through the screens. Oh, beautiful, gorgeous. Look at all of you. Sierra Hall, Stasia, Rhonda Hartman, Christine Dunn, Presley Roberts, Katie Carr, Brooke Enslin, Allie Wright, Roxanne Bedard, Crystal Stewart, Chastity Kern. Oh, you guys are so gorgeous. My God. This has been the deepest honor and privilege to be your guest speaker tonight, you guys. We do have one final gift for you. When Jay reached out beginning of our conversation, she had just left an event with Tony Robbins. It was called World Summit. Two of my greatest mentors in my life are Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. You know, and we were just connecting about that event. She loved that event. And we have big Tony Robbins event that a lot of people in network marketing go to. And that event's called Unleash the Power Within.